Hi, welcome back to our channel, Two Brothers Opinion. My name is Barry. This is my brother Mart. This is my brother Mart.
What?
What are you doing?
I'm sending you a text.
The hell are you sending me a text for? I'm sitting right here.
Well, that's what we do now, right? This is technology.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that's what we do now.
Oh yeah, that's what we do now, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is how technology has made us a better civilization.
So we don't talk to each other.
No, we just sit across from each other or next to each other and we send you a text.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I guess you can kind of get the idea of what we're going to be talking about today.
Yeah. Technology and
Is it good or bad?
yeah. So one of the things I was thinking, like when we were thinking of doing this, is like how it's affected being social, like socialization, relationships, how people are like so disconnected from each other and
Disconnected with reality.
well, the funny thing is we were just out for breakfast this morning and you pointed out a couple comes in and they were sitting on the opposite table and they were both on their phones.
Both on their phones. They look like a brand new couple. The girl looked pregnant.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe a few months. You could start seeing where she's showing. And my brother had his back to them, and I'm looking, and I said, "Look at that." And he looks over, and they're both on their phones.
Yeah,
What happened with going to breakfast? Going, "Hey, honey,
It's a Sunday morning.
yeah, how are you feeling today?"
Yeah. It's I don't know, like it's Sunday morning. Hey, let's go out to breakfast. Okay, so you go out to breakfast, you're gonna sit at the table, and then you're gonna do the same thing you do at home and just put your face in your phone. It's amazing. I was telling Barry that when I was when I was a therapist, I actually worked with a couple, marriage counseling. They used to they'd be sleeping in the same bed, their backs were to each other, and they were text fighting. They're arguing with each other, texting each other. Like all they had to do was turn their head and talk to the person.
Yeah, ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, the phones.
Okay,
Technology
so
could be good.
let's talk about the phone.
Right.
Okay, so you're traveling on the highway. Now I lived in Arizona,
Right.
and he did too.
Yeah.
Well, actually, our whole family did at
Yeah,
one
one
time.
time.
So you're traveling between cities or towns.
It could be.
It could be miles where there's
Nobody.
nothing.
Right.
So they were developed for a good purpose.
Yeah.
You break down. You're in the middle of the night. You're a young woman. Maybe you're in college. And now you're stuck on the side of the road
Yeah.
with no way to communicate.
Oh,
So now
right.
you get on the phone, you
Yeah.
call AAA,
Right.
or you call your family or whoever and say, "Hey, I'm stuck on the side of I-10. I need help."
Right.
Great.
Yep. A GPS of like if you don't know an address, put it in.
Fantastic.
You don't have to get it the old Rand McNally map or whatever it was.
But now GPS fails.
Right. Sometimes, yeah.
People don't know how to get around in their own city.
No, that's true.
They rely on GPS
Yep.
for everything.
Yeah.
I still know when I used to drive, I would run out of Bridgeport, Connecticut. I drove truck for a lot of time, straight truck, no tractor trailer. And I bet I could go to a lot of the stores that I used to deliver to. Premium brand ice cream,
remember, yeah.
not, popsicles and stuff
Right.
like. Although we had that, but we were the exclusive distributors for Friendly Ice Cream in New York, out of Connecticut. And I bet I could go to a lot of the places just from memory,
Yeah.
or using a map.
Well, yeah, because after I moved back to Connecticut and then years later took a vacation out to Arizona, I drove all over Arizona. I went from Phoenix up to the Grand Canyon, over to Meteor Crater, through the
That's in Winslow, right?
the petrified forest, and
Through Sedona.
yeah,
Let
all,
you come down
right
through
down Sedona, all the way down to Sierra Vista and Tombstone, and all the way over back. Did the whole thing.
Yeah.
Did the whole thing because I used to live there.
Yep. I can tell you the exit number off of I-10 to get off to
yeah.
go to Sierra Vista. Exit 302.
Yep.
And that takes 90 and brings you
Yep.
into Sierra Vista by Fort Huachuca City.
Yeah.
I haven't been there in a long time.
I know.
Even when I lived there, didn't go down there.
I know.
I lived in Phoenix, which that's a long drive.
Yeah,
down to Sierra
it's a
Vista.
real long drive, actually.
People don't realize. I think you could fit 13 Connecticut's inside Arizona.
Yeah,
Arizona's a really big
Because
state.
I went from the Grand Canyon down to Sierra Vista, and it was, I think, close to, it was almost 8 hours.
Got to be long, maybe.
It's like 8 hours.
Or maybe longer than that.
Yeah, but anyway, I mean, the phones can be useful.
Absolutely.
Here's the other thing. I don't know if you remember because you were little, but I still remember our telephone number when I was like 7 years old in Prospect.
Oh,
I still remember that telephone number.
I remember one.
But now,
Waterbury.
I couldn't tell you, like, my daughter has phone. I don't know what her telephone number is.
I don't know my girlfriend's phone number.
I know what I hit a button and it says her name and
Yeah.
it calls her. But I used to know all that stuff.
So is that helping your memory?
No. Not that.
It's just making it easier.
It makes it easier to just go boom. But if your phone dies, all of a sudden the battery's no good or whatever, the phone dies. I can't call anyone because I don't remember anybody's number.
No. So even if someone has a phone next to you
Yeah.
and they say, "Hey, I need help," call my mom or call my sister.
Couldn't tell you what the number
I
is.
don't know their phone number,
Me neither.
but I can tell you the phone number of the house I grew up in.
Yeah.
So we'll call that stranger up. Yeah, 203-757-1853.
Yeah.
8604. What was the?
886-049. The license plate
Yeah, we
number
were
of our
talking about
dad's
that.
car from
What was the other the phone number that everybody was calling? That
Oh,
song?
867-5309.
Yeah, and that lady some lady was
Yeah.
pissed off because that was her phone.
Because it was a telephone
Stop
number.
calling here. I don't know if people remember that song, but
Yeah.
I do.
I know. So yeah, we were looking at talking about this and the socialization, the effects on relationships, and I was telling him that when I was a therapist, I'd work with, whether it's teenagers or even college age kids, they would talk about their friend, like, oh, my friend here or my friend there, or my girlfriend or my boyfriend, and I was like, oh wow, like, it's your girlfriend, like, where do you take her? Oh, well, I don't take her anywhere. I'm like,
What do you mean?
why don't you take your girlfriend? Well, because she lives in Iowa. I'm like she lives in Iowa? That's your girlfriend? I said, no, that's not your girlfriend. I said, a girlfriend is when you can get in your car, you drive over to her house, you pick her up, you take her out to eat or to go to a movie or something.
That's your friend.
That's not your girlfriend.
That's an acquaintance that you just
That's
talk to on social
You're making
media.
this stuff up. So you have like these false friendships that aren't real friendships.
No,
You know,
I don't think so.
my Steve, my lifelong friend. I mean,
Yeah.
we lived maybe a mile away growing up.
If that.
But
Yeah.
for 55 years, it was either he was calling me, I was calling him, or one of us was picking up the other one, and we were
Yeah.
playing golf or whatever we were doing. And nowadays, those friendships are weird. Like there's a disconnect
Yeah.
from people because you have this device in your hand.
So I have a very good friend. Here's a story, something like that. So his daughter was in probably late high school, junior, senior. So she said, "Dad, can my girlfriend come over?" Yeah, sure. So parents drop her off. And they're sitting in the kitchen across from each other. And my friend's in the kitchen doing something. And he he looks over and he says, "How come you're not talking to your friend?" And she goes, "We are. We're texting each other." Across the table, texting each other, not even having a verbal conversation.
Right.
So what is that device doing, the technology?
Like I said,
It's taking the human factor out of how to hold a conversation.
yeah.
I drive school bus. I'll tell you how many times I drive by bus stops. No one is talking. They
Yeah.
all got their phones and they're doing this.
Yeah. Yeah.
We used to sit on the school bus, on a city bus and talk to people.
Yeah.
Or at the stop. "Hey, how you doing?"
Right.
I talk to everybody in the store. My girlfriend gets mad at me. I talk to anyone.
Yeah.
I just strike up a conversation.
Well, my daughter will say the same thing. She goes, "Dad, why do you talk to people?" Because that's what you do. She goes, "Well, I don't talk to anyone."
Arizona, when I first moved out there.
Right.
Now, I lived in Phoenix, and I used to go to this Dunkin' Donuts in Tempe. It's on the corner of Priest and University. And for anybody out there in Arizona that's listening, they know where it's at. And I'll never forget. I was recently moved out there, transplanted, and it was a long line. And I walked in, and I was like, "Good morning, everyone." Everybody turned and looked at me and turned away. No one said a word. No good morning, no nothing. And the people that would say morning or strike up a conversation with you, they were either from the Northeast
Right.
or the Midwest.
Midwest, upper, yeah. Like Minnesota, Wisconsin.
Minnesota,
Yep. There's a lot of
Wisconsin,
them.
Michigan, Illinois,
Yep.
or someone from the Northeast somewhere.
Yeah.
Because I remember this guy, and I said to him, morning. He turned around and said, hey, how you doing? I go, you're not from here. Where are you from? And he goes, well, how would you know that? I said, because you're talking to me. He goes, I'm from Philly.
Well, I was working at a restaurant, and the guy walks in, and immediately he had an accent. And I recognized, it was New York. I recognized right away. And he's like, table for four or whatever. And I was like, so, where are you from? He goes, New York. He goes, why, where are you from? I said, Connecticut. He goes, immediately, he goes, how you doing? And I went, I don't know, how you doing? He goes, yeah, you're from Connecticut. Like, it's like,
yeah.
and we had a laugh, and it was funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. But although I had a little bit of opposite experience that you did, when I moved to Arizona, people started talking to me.
Really?
Yeah, like I was in line at a grocery store or whatever. People were like, hi, good morning. How are you? And I was like, why are you talking to me? Because, you grow up in here sometimes.
That's weird.
Sometimes you grow up in New England and you don't want anybody to bother you.
Yeah, sometimes.
Right. So I would be looking like, why are you talking to me? Leave me alone. I'm getting my stuff and I'm going to get out of here. But after being there for 3 years, I was talking to people.
Yeah, well,
Right?
yeah, you know me. I'm
Right.
more like daddy. I talk to anyone.
But then I came back here to Connecticut, and I started messing with people. So I would be in line going, hey, good morning, what's up? Oh, you got that? What are you getting? And people would look at me like I was crazy.
Yeah. Well, we're getting all kind of off subject.
Well, no, but it goes back to the socialization part.
Yeah.
Like that is missing. Even if you want to goof with people, like you can't, I'll send you a funny meme or something. Like, come on, like tell a joke.
Tell a joke.
Tell
a joke. Take the technology, the device out of your life at a certain point.
There are, I don't know if it's a town. It might be a town. But I know there's also schools out west that do it. You're not allowed to have a phone.
Well, I know one of the schools that I go pick up kids at, Waterbury Arts Magnet. They, I believe they make them put them in a case, so they can't. I mean,
Right,
I understand a lot of the worrisome of moms and dads in today's society. They want to get a hold of their child, or they put an app on there. Now I have an app my girlfriend put on my phone, and we share it. And that's because I ride motorcycles, and at that time I was riding out of state. So she would see where I was at. And if she knew where I was going, and all of a sudden I'm like 3 miles away and I'm not moving,
Right.
something's wrong.
Right.
So she would call, hey, you all right? And I don't mind that.
Right.
She's not keeping tabs on me, but there's a safety factor.
Right. Yeah.
I get it. I get the technology, the good and the bad part of it. And that's what we're talking about today.
Yeah. Now the bad part, if if people don't believe, you look at teenagers nowadays, they're more like 50% of them are depressed. They're on antidepressants. They're isolated because they'll be up in their room, and they're chatting with texting with their friend or whatever, or sending things back and forth.
But there's no social
Right, but they're alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're isolated, and they're more depressed, and it goes all back to that. It's like you can't be isolated. You got to get out. You got to interact with people, and our generation gets it, but I think the younger generations, they think it's perfectly fine what they're doing because
it's not.
Because they're how was your day, and they're doing that when I chat back and forth.
I don't believe giving phones to kids, grammar school especially.
Oh no, I know.
But I mean,
I get high school, or if they're in the case where my daughter danced a lot, she'd be at these dance competitions, and they're in the back room, and you're not allowed.
No, you can't go.
Parents aren't allowed back there a lot of times, and she had migraines, so we got her a phone in case she's like, I have a migraine. We could get her medication or whatever. And she was too young to have it to hold it herself at the time. So we did it for a medical reason, but other than that,
and that's where the technology comes in the good.
Yeah, it's right, because there's a reason for it, not just like, hey, mama, on my 6th birthday, I want a phone, and these people just give me phones.
And they do. And not only that, they don't even put parental blockers on them.
Yeah. There's crazy stuff.
Yeah. I could tell you stories that would curl your hair, not our hair,
Not our hair.
not our hair, but it would curl your hair.
At least not
about
this
what
hair.
some of the kids tell me that they watch
Oh,
on
yeah.
their phones, and they're in grammar school.
Yep.
Their parents have no clue. Either they do or they don't, but the kids are watching stuff that they
Yeah.
should not be watching.
Well, then you even see stuff where these kids are in school and maybe a teacher is saying something that, but these kids are now like, videotaping or audio taping people. It's like you're getting into whole realms of stuff that like is just not good.
Yeah, the big brother, the so-called big brother is watching.
Yeah.
It's watching everywhere now.
Well, yeah, you can't even talk.
No.
And your phone all of a sudden starts sending you like videos of stuff you were just talking about.
Absolutely, it listens because I don't like Cadillacs, but I just happen to be talking about a new Cadillac, and I go into Facebook.
Yeah.
There's the advertisements for Cadillacs that were never there.
It just happened with when we did the JFK assassination. I got all kinds of videos about that, and then we just did. What did we just do? My God,
DEI?
no, the one before that. Whatever it was.
I forget now. I need I need a new memory.
See
I need
that.
a couple of gigs of memory.
Little senioritis there.
Yeah.
But whatever it was, like all of a sudden I'm like getting advertisements on my phone for that. It's like we were just talking about it. Yeah, I mean we put it on YouTube or whatever, but there's other times. Well, I remember I was golfing with Carlos one time, and I was telling him about this whole series about there's a mathematical equation on which club to use in certain areas. And when he went home, he called me. He's like, "You won't believe the first video that came up." He goes, "Exactly what you were just talking about."
They're listening.
They're always they're always listening because they're listening for the hey so and so or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, yes, what do you want? It's like, I didn't want you. It's like,
I mean, so now we go into technology, medical technology.
Right.
Before they would have to rip your back open
Yep.
and, an incision that was this long and repair what. Now they just go in with a little scope, a little incision,
it's like
and
three
they can
little
fix
holes.
everything.
Yep.
So that's the positive of technology.
Right. Yeah. There are. I mean,
There's great things with technology.
sure there are. They can use robotic stuff and go in and do heart surgeries and people can go home in like a day or whatever. And they just had, instead of open heart surgery where you were in for however long. I've had 5 knee operations. After every single one of them, they sent me home like the same day. You go, it's like get out of the hospital, go home and recover there.
And then you do start doing your physical therapy and you nurse yourself back.
Right. So the technology, I mean, even computers. I mean, computers can be really helpful.
Sure.
But then you get hacked and they steal your information.
I just heard a thing on that. Every 6 seconds, someone's identity is stolen.
Yeah.
6 seconds.
What happened? You know what happened to me.
Well, yeah, it's happened to me.
They took everything. They got everything.
Yeah, I got my savings account and checking account wiped out.
Yeah.
And then they go, well, it's going to take, an investigation to get your money. And I'm like, well, I need gas to go to work.
Right. Yeah.
That's why it's good sometimes to have cash on hand.
Yeah, I know.
But we all use cards.
But the technology is not going to slow down.
No, it's just going to
It's going to get more and more. And they used to joke about they're going to put chips in us.
They got it now.
They got it now.
There's a company in
Is it California?
Seattle.
It's out that way.
It's
out
out
west.
that way. I think it's Seattle.
Yeah.
Where they have a chip in their hand, and that's how they get paid. And they swipe to punch in, and they use it to buy stuff out of vending machines. I'm not doing that.
I know. It's crazy.
No, I'm not doing that.
I mean, then you look at okay, so it sounds like it's a good thing. You go on Amazon, you hit order something, and it shows up the next day. It's on your, it just happened today. Bought something yesterday. It was there this morning.
Yeah.
Now, on one hand, it's kind of nice.
Yeah.
On the other hand, probably would have been better off I got in a car, drove to a store, walked around the store, looked at certain things, talked to the salesman. It's like that whole piece is missing.
It's gone.
And what did I save? Because the hour or whatever that I saved by not going anywhere, I probably sat in front of the TV and I watched the NFL draft yesterday. I didn't accomplish anything. I was sitting here by myself watching the draft.
Well,
I mean, I probably would have
you can
accomplished.
look at it like there's less wear and tear in your car. You didn't burn any gas.
Yeah.
But you also didn't.
But I was right. I didn't get out and
intermingle with society.
Right.
Talk to this guy.
Right.
That's counting on that job.
Yeah. So
that's how I think sometimes when COVID happened and, you weren't allowed to go anywhere.
yeah, a lot
It
of
was
people,
bad here. I don't know. I was in
a
Arizona.
lot of people were depressed.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people. Because, yeah, my wife wasn't allowed to go to work. My daughter wasn't allowed to go to school. They were cooped up. I was still going to work because I was like, screw this, I'm going.
Yeah.
And,
I was an essential worker. So
right. And we had people coming into the therapy office, coming in. I'm like, you can wear a mask if you want. You can take it off if you want. My room was big. I'm like, you're not going to be right in my face.
Masks don't work.
Yes, and masks don't work. And I still see people, I saw one yesterday.
I see people today driving alone in a car with a mask.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, maybe they have a respiratory and they don't want to give it to anybody else. But I doubt
But
it.
but even then, those people before COVID, they might have had respiratory stuff. Do you remember them wearing masks? I don't.
No one's
don't.
going to tell me what to do.
I went to the grocery store yesterday. There was a lady by herself putting her groceries in her car, wearing a mask. I'm like, you're outside in the parking lot. There's no one else there. You're putting your groceries away
Yeah,
in your car?
Confucius say, man who wear mask alone in bed. I mean, alone in car. Same man that wear condom alone in bed.
It's just amazing.
Yeah.
And I almost wanted to say to the lady, but as I walked by, I almost wanted to say, by the way, masks don't work. But I don't want to get somebody to say, shut up, mind your own business.
So we mind our own business.
So I just mind my own business and went in
Let
and
them do what they want to do.
But
They think they're secure.
even when the wind opens the door.
Well,
I have a door that's opening. It's not a ghost.
Yeah, I'm ready to draw on the front door. 'Cause like I said, I'm always armed.
But I forgot what I was going to say now.
That's okay. But we're talking about technology.
I know when all that crap happened with COVID and masks and everything else.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Want me to go shut the other one?
Yeah, I shut the other one.
Oh, well.
No, it's all right. He's going to go shut a door.
Yeah, I'm going to go shut the door. I'll be right back on scene.
I'll tell the story. So, yeah, everyone's wearing, it's COVID, everybody's wearing masks. And I would walk into a store and they would say, sir, do you need a mask? And I'm like, no, I'm fine. And I just walk in the store. And people used to look at me.
Yeah.
And then when, they had in the
back.
grocery aisle, they would have arrows. You could only go up this one and down this one. And
Yeah, they had that in Arizona. I go the opposite direction.
I was going to,
And
had
people
my
would
kid-
yell at
and
me.
my daughter
You're
would
going the wrong way.
Yeah. So one time I only needed to go in about 5 feet to get something. But the arrow was pointing this way.
Mm-hmm.
So I told my daughter, turn around. We walked backwards.
Yeah.
Because it was funny.
Yeah.
Not because I was,
That's the old
the
Three Stooges.
Three Stooges used to do
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
They'd walk
backwards and walk
say
into
they're
a place.
leaving, and actually they're entering. Yeah.
But yeah. So anyway, so there's decent technology when it comes to MRIs and CAT scans and stuff. Although now they're saying that those things cause cancer.
What doesn't?
I know, but in terms of phones, they're bad. They're in people's faces all the time.
Yeah.
And people are more isolated and depressed. And if you can get away from your phone, even for a few hours a day, just put it down. When we were kids, there were no answering machines.
Nope.
Like if someone called when you were out, you didn't know.
No.
And then they might call later on and get you and then go, oh, I called earlier. Yeah,
Yeah,
what'd
we
you
were
want?
home.
Yeah, what'd you want?
We were outside.
Yeah. And we lived. We didn't die.
No.
How
How did we call our friends? Hey, I'll be over in a minute. Because it was always the neighborhood.
Or sometimes you drove over with your bicycle, you rode over.
Yeah,
And
then
you
they
went,
were
hey,
home.
are you home? And they're like, nah, he's not home. Well, tell him I was here.
Tell them I was here and we ride back to our house.
Yeah.
Because that's neighborhoods.
Yeah.
Now no one knows who their neighbor is. There's
No.
people probably next door 15 years. You don't even know their name.
I know.
We knew everyone.
Everybody. And we would, like, in some cases, especially like in Prospect, sometimes you went in their house. Like, you could go in their house. Like,
Yeah, it was unlocked.
well, yeah, I know. It was either unlocked, but it was also like, you'd wait, you'd knock at the door, and they're like, come on in. And you'd go in and you knew the parents, you knew the kids.
Yeah.
Now, yeah, I
I
don't know.
remember Dad telling a story that they had clothes on the line, and then all of a sudden rain was coming, but they weren't there, and the neighbor took the
clothes
took
in.
the clothes off the line, folded it up, went in the house because you didn't lock your doors,
Right.
and laid it down. You don't do that today. You'll come home, the house will be empty. They'll take
Yeah.
the paint off the walls.
Not only that, but they'll take the clothes and
Yeah,
and wear them.
and wear them.
Yeah, you're like, my clothes are missing, and
So
they
what
look
has
like yours.
happened to society?
That's part of it. It's like what's happened to society is you get so disconnected that you don't empathize with anyone. You don't, have feelings or anything towards your neighbors to help them out. Because it's almost like, somebody's lawn is 5 feet high, and you're like, oh, I wonder if they died, and you just keep going on with your own life instead of like,
Well, there was a story. There was a story where this guy passed, and excuse me, I apologize. And all his bills, rent and everything came out of his pension. He was dead in a chair in his room for like a year before someone, because he had no family,
right.
because his rent was being paid, his electricity was, everything came out automatically, and no one checked up on this.
Right. So that it gets deposited, direct deposit, and then paid out.
Yep.
Yeah. That's just,
And there he is sitting in a chair
Yeah.
dead.
to me, that's
Like mummified.
like so sad that someone could be alone like that.
Yeah.
That's just so sad. But anyways, the last piece I wanted to bring up was the media when it comes to technology and the media and the manipulation and the propaganda. You see, especially younger, like college age students, and they come up and they're like, we think blah, blah, blah. And then when you give them the facts, they're like, well, I didn't know that. I had no idea.
Because you didn't research it.
Yeah, because you just heard what you heard. Like you only listened to certain radio stations or TV stations, assuming that that's the truth. When, as you said earlier, they'll tell you a story, but they're not going to tell you the story. And it's just sad again that people just are manipulated by the media and they just accept all the propaganda. We've said it before on this channel, where just question everything.
Yep.
Everything. We said it one of the last ones, like question us. Like, these are our opinions.
Doesn't mean they're right.
Right, doesn't mean they're right, but we're based in some understanding of what we're talking about. But if you don't believe us, go check it out.
Yeah.
Go research for yourself. Give us a comment. Say, hey, this is what I found. Okay.
Yeah. We're not here to tell you you're wrong.
No, but we're here to try and get you to think.
Think a little.
Yeah. So,
I don't know. I always questioned things when I was young. Always.
Yeah.
Never took it upon what they're telling me. Yeah, I'm going to check that out and see if that's right.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Sure is.
So, anyways,
so that wraps up another video.
Yeah.
And I just want to say like and subscribe, hit the notification bell.
And you have a voice, and don't let anyone silence it. And get off your phones.
Even though we're on a phone recording.
Yeah. But that's a good use of technology.
Yes, good use.
To get our word
Our
out there.
message out.
Yeah, that's not propaganda and it's not manipulation.
Nope, not at all.
So, okay.
Alrighty.
We will see you next video.
Thank you.